Selecting an insurance provider for your business is a big decision.
We know how important your company is to the community.
Alford & Associates can manage your insurance. It's our job.
Alford & Associates, benefiting your employees and protecting your business.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Louisiana and Beyond.
And in this week's episode, we take a look at the South Lafourche Levee District, providing flood protection to that area since the mid-1960s.
And in the program, we'll hear the story of its origins from Executive Director Nick Matherne and Board President Keith Guidry.
Also joining us in the program will be local coastal experts Dwayne Bourgeois, Cory Kief, and Stevie Smith.
Our guest segment this week features the CEO of Grand Isle Shipyard, Mark Prejean, who talks about the success of GIS and their excitement about the future.
All of this and so much more coming up tonight on Louisiana and Beyond.
Louisiana and Beyond is brought to you in part by Edison Schwest Offshore, Bollinger Shipyards, Crosby Tugs LLC, Grand Isle Shipyard, Greater Lafourche Port Commission, Nichols State University, and Sea Level Construction.
At GIS, putting people first has always been our thing. As we always say, our people are our most important assets. With over 20 office locations, we deliver innovative solutions across 4 key markets: energy, industrial, infrastructure, and power. Our 4 main service groups house over 20 service capabilities, supporting projects from start to finish. We're proud of our legacy and even more excited about what's ahead.
When it comes to marine towing, Crosby Tugs has over 40 years of experience. We have the know-how to safely assist ships into and out of their berths, escort oil tankers quickly and safely, tow ships, respond to fuel spills, and work in extreme conditions. Founded in 1977 by Vinton and Kurt Crosby, we are one of the largest privately owned marine transportation businesses in the industry. If it's on the water, let Crosby be your transporter.
Welcome to Bollinger Shipyards. For nearly a century, our family of skilled shipbuilders has driven innovation and excellence, creating some of the world's most advanced vessels. Today, we are at the forefront of our industry and redefining the future of naval warfare. At Bollinger, we turn challenges into opportunities and careers into legacies. Here, you're part of something bigger. Any yard can build a ship. We don't just build ships. Together, we're building the future.
In a world where you can choose to be anything, who do you choose to be? At Nichols State University, with over 70 distinct degree programs, we believe our students can be anything. Be an artist, a chef, a journalist, an educator, a lifesaver. But no matter what you choose to be a colonel. Be more at Nichols State University.
Edison Schwest Offshore is more than a fleet. We're an interconnected network of vessels, logistics hubs, and a fast-growing workforce of over 19,000 dedicated professionals across the globe. From the United States to Brazil and the Middle East to Southeast Asia, Schwest provides cutting-edge solutions to a worldwide community. And in the face of evolving demands across the industry, we are committed to operating as the best in the world.
Welcome back to Louisiana and Beyond. This week, we're taking a closer look at the unparalleled success of the South Lafourche Levee District.
And the Levee District's Executive Director, Nick Matherne, provides us the story of the district's rather humble beginnings.
In the late 1950s, the federal government started showing interest in the South Lafourche area. I mean, largely because of the work that was going on with, Matherne fuel dock that eventually blossomed into what we now see as in Port Fourchon. And so the federal government, through the Corps of Engineers, conducted the Grand Isle and vicinity study. That culminated with a 1963 Chief of Engineers report by the Corps of Engineers, where after looking at the entire project area and what could be done, the Corps of Engineers decided the most cost-effective way to address flood risk needs in the South Lafourche community was to create a ring levee around the communities of Larose, Cutoff, Galliano, and Golden Meadow. That was authorized by Congress in 1965, and the Larose to Golden Meadow Hurricane Protection Project was born. Any federal civil works project, especially through the Corps of Engineers, does require a non-federal sponsor. And so these larger projects and these needs and these efforts are always started locally. And so you had folks like Dick Guidry back in the day that would have started that rally cry locally, then brought it to our congressional delegation at the time that would have then created this act in Congress.
I was thinking about it this week. As a kid in Galliano, I remember some storms, and not really big storms because we stayed down there, so it wasn't a big storm. And riding a pirogue in my backyard and going to my aunt's house further down the street. And then when Mr. Leon Ontario got on that board and knew what we needed and fought and started with those levees at maybe 6 foot high, and that was a protection.
100% focus of we're going to build this system and we're not going to let anything get in our way. And that goes back to Mr. Leon Ontario, who was the first chairman. I say it was the first. I believe it was the first chairman of that board, to Mr. Ronald Colley, and to now Mr. Keith Guidry, who had been the leadership of that board for the past 40 years. And of course, certainly the work by Wendell and his team, but they were 100% focused with very little resources for quite some time. They worked on that levee system for 25 or 30 years before Katrina, right, with very little additional investment from outside. They would get a little bit of money from the state every now and then. They had their own money, but they were not going to be distracted from their focus, because just about every administration at the parish level in Lafourche would try to get the South Lafourche Levee District involved in other things like drainage and other issues that the parish thought they could pull a levee district in to help them with. And again, I go back to Mr. Terrio and then Mr. Colley and, of course, Mr. Guidry, that we are going to build this levee system. We don't have the time or resources to be focused on anything else, and this is what we're going to do.
They've been around since, I believe it's 1965, right? And so a Betsy-driven kind of thing, right? And very successful, well, out ahead of us on a lot of things, because their needs were higher earlier on, right? I mean, they were much more exposed. In Lafourche Parish, very long parish, 100 miles, right? You have the southern part of it has a need very much sooner. And so a lot of big leaders in that area, colleagues and Tommy Doucet, Cory's uncle, were really instrumental. And I don't want to leave a lot of folks out, but there were a lot of folks that really were aggressive on that. And so we kind of, as a North Lafourche, had a template to work from, right? And we had a Wendell Purell that was out there doing things. And when I first started, I was knocking on Wendell's door all the time. How's this work? How's that work? How do we do this? And so it gave me a good springboard to move from.
When we were authorized in 1965, we were only authorized to have the tops of our levees be about 8.5 feet in elevation in the northern part in Larose, and 13 feet in elevation on the southern end in Golden Meadow. We're currently at about 13 feet on the northern end in Larose and about 18 feet on the southern end in Golden Meadow. So that puts us averaging about 5 feet higher in elevation than we were authorized to. Now, federal authorization doesn't mean that you can't go any higher. The federal authorization just means that's the highest point that the federal government will spend federal tax dollars to achieve that level of protection. There's nothing in federal law that stops us from going above and beyond and building higher every year. The only caveat there is that because it's still a federally authorized project, anytime we want to go and raise the levee, we are supposed to get what's called a Section 408 permit. And a Section 408 permit is any sort of federal project that's been constructed by the United States government. If you want to go and alter it or even temporarily occupy it, you have to submit your plans to the United States Army Corps of Engineers for them to make sure that you're not going to be damaging the federal investment. And especially in a project like a levee, something for flood protection where we're talking about people's lives and property, it's very understandable that the federal government's made this investment. They want to make sure it's protected. From our perspective locally, it's always a time issue. And so while we understand the importance of the permitting process, we have the same goal in mind. We don't want to damage the federal project either. And so while we were only authorized to 8.5 feet in the north end and 13 feet on the south end, especially after Hurricane Katrina, when the city of New Orleans received $14 billion to improve their system, and the South Lafourche Levee District received exactly $0, the residents and business owners in the South Lafourche community took it upon themselves to pass a 1 cent sales tax by a margin of 82% in favor. I can't think of another scenario in recent history where you had people vote to tax themselves by an 82% vote. And so that money now, along with some property taxes that we collect, go to continuing to build our levees higher, stronger.
Welcome to Bollinger Shipyards. For nearly a century, our family of skilled shipbuilders has driven innovation and excellence, creating some of the world's most advanced vessels. Today, we are at the forefront of our industry and redefining the future of naval warfare. At Bollinger, we turn challenges into opportunities and careers into legacies. Here, you're part of something bigger. Any yard can build a ship. We don't just build ships. Together, we're building the future.
Edison Schwest Offshore is more than a fleet. We're an interconnected network of vessels, logistics hubs, and a fast-growing workforce of over 19,000 dedicated professionals across the globe. From the United States to Brazil and the Middle East to Southeast Asia, Schwest provides cutting-edge solutions to a worldwide community. And in the face of evolving demands across the industry, we are committed to operating as the best in the world.
Sea Level Construction is a trusted heavy civil contractor delivering turnkey solutions to the Gulf South. From large-scale infrastructure and power distribution foundations to marine construction, driven piling, specialty foundations, structural fabrication, structural concrete, site development, heavy equipment maintenance, vessel repair, and inshore tugboat services. We also design and supply helical piles nationwide, delivering reliable foundation solutions. Call Sea Level Construction to set the foundation for your next project.
When it comes to marine towing, Crosby Tugs has over 40 years of experience. We have the know-how to safely assist ships into and out of their berths, escort oil tankers quickly and safely, tow ships, respond to fuel spills, and work in extreme conditions. Founded in 1977 by Vinton and Kurt Crosby, we are one of the largest privately owned marine transportation businesses in the industry. If it's on the water, let Crosby be your transporter.
At GIS, putting people first has always been our thing. As we always say, our people are our most important assets. With over 20 office locations, we deliver innovative solutions across 4 key markets: energy, industrial, infrastructure, and power. Our 4 main service groups house over 20 service capabilities, supporting projects from start to finish. We're proud of our legacy and even more excited about what's ahead.
Welcome back to this week's episode of Louisiana and Beyond. Grand Isle Shipyards invest in its people, enabling them to grow, thrive, and build long-term careers.
And GIS's CEO Mark Prejean talks about the importance of planning and collaboration when dealing with such a large workforce.
You're dealing with people, so it definitely presents its challenges at the end of the day. And like you say, those type A personalities are no doubt tough to deal with, right? But we try to do our best to make sure that we argue and challenge each other behind closed doors. We come to an agreement. It might not be what everyone's always happy with, but we've got a play that we need to go run, and we run it to the best of our ability. So we come out as a united front. But I think it goes back to what we talked about earlier, is that when people feel understood, whether they agree or not with the direction you go, they feel a lot better in supporting the overall vision. And I think that's a benefit of our team. Everybody gets to vet their opinions. They get to feel understood. We decide as a team on the way we're going to go forward, and then we try to execute the plan. You got to work hard, but you got to have some fun. You got to play hard as well. And I mean, my grandparents did it. My father did it. We instilled that in our people. We want to do that team building aspects of it. We want to bring it down to a personal level, because when you truly care and you make it personal, I mean, people are going to, again, do more, give over 100% for you. And that's why we try to keep it fun. If it's not fun at work, I mean, why are we doing it? I mean, you can go make money anywhere. But I mean, here you can make some money and have some fun doing it. So that's, something that we try to make sure that's in the forefront. For us, we've got a vision, like most companies. We have kind of 8 desired states that we call them, our goals and where we want to head. A few of them that we'll talk about is, from a safety side, we want to institute psychological safety into our behavior-based management system. From a growth perspective, we want to continue to grow, 8-10% per year, which is pretty big when you get to the size of our company. That's in essence growing a pretty sizable company every year. But we believe we can get to $1 billion here in the next 5 or so years through the strategies that we have, through diversifying in the industries that we're going into, not just traditional oil and gas, but the utility and power sector, the infrastructure, and that government piece that we talked about earlier, as well as renewables and other alternative energies. So we've got a pathway to get there. And like I said, we have several more, but that's kind of the 2 of the bigger lofty goals that we have in front of us. For GIS, typically we've historically been known as a mechanical construction company. When you look on any websites or you see the stuff, oil and gas, it's a dirty job, long hours, tough like that. But we've evolved so much, particularly in the last 25 years. We have 25 plus different service lines and in various industries, not only oil and gas, but like I mentioned, renewables, the government sector, the industrial sector, downstream, midstream. We've been innovative. We've been working with a lot of technology, drones, robotics, all of these things that are intriguing to this newer generation that's behind a computer or a cell phone or video games. We're working all over the globe. We've got remote operations that are supporting, this area here from Brazil and the Philippines and vice versa, So, I mean, you get the unique opportunity not only to be able to help and grow a community here in Louisiana, but to be part of something that's much bigger at the end of the day. So, that next generation, would love them to come in and see all that we have to offer, because it's some pretty exciting stuff. From all of us being in Louisiana, we've all dealt with unique challenges. You mentioned a couple of them: coastal erosion. Being from Grand Isle, it seemed like we had a storm at least one a year going up, and we needed that Cajun ingenuity. We'll call it, from early on. Because if you didn't protect yourself or come up with innovative ways to do stuff, your community, your family would cease to exist, right? So I think here in Louisiana is the epitome of being able to be innovative. And over the years, we've continued on that thing. I mean, not only with technology pieces, but just bringing the best minds together to come up with solutions to some of the toughest challenges has been a key piece. And now you're seeing the technology significantly accelerate, AI, robotics, and all of these other things. So it's just, as these generations continue to come in, understanding that, myself is not going to be near as smart as my son and that generation coming in when it comes to artificial intelligence and all of those things. So we need to open up our minds and also stand behind in a case and let them lead in those areas where they have some strengths. About 2.5 years ago, we purchased a renewables company that basically did a lot of the stuff we do on the construction side, but in the solar and wind space, called Discovery. So over the last couple of years, we've been building up that business. This year, we're going to be installing, 200 plus megawatts of solar in new build projects. So 200 acre type site locations, installing solar panels and racking across these entire sites. So, it's pretty unbelievable when you talk about our history, to be on the back deck of a trawl boat, to migrate into oil and gas, and now standing in the middle of a 200 acre site of solar panels, but at the end of the day, still delivering energy to the U.S. and global communities.
As we learned earlier, GIS was founded by Mark's grandparents back in 1948 to serve the commercial fishing industry.
And Mark talks about what his grandparents would feel about today's GIS with its over 3,500 employees and 25 service lines.
They'd be amazed, I think, to see where we are today. You know what I mean? To truly see how we've diversified, how we've changed and adjusted, but still holding that core values and the foundation and our Louisiana background still running through our blood no matter where we are in the world. But to be able to achieve the stuff that we've done today has been built on their foundational principles, and I think they would be very proud to see where we are today.
At GIS, putting people first has always been our thing. As we always say, our people are our most important assets. With over 20 office locations, we deliver innovative solutions across 4 key markets: energy, industrial, infrastructure, and power. Our 4 main service groups house over 20 service capabilities, supporting projects from start to finish. We're proud of our legacy and even more excited about what's ahead.
For more than 65 years, the Greater Lafourche Port Commission has been an important fixture in our community. From humble beginnings in 1960 to a modern-day cornerstone of global commerce, specializing in all things energy-related, we have worked alongside you, our neighbors and partners, to build a brighter and more prosperous tomorrow. Together, we have weathered storms, embraced innovation, and celebrated meaningful milestones. Here's to the past, present, and future of a thriving Lafourche and Louisiana.
Welcome to Bollinger Shipyards. For nearly a century, our family of skilled shipbuilders has driven innovation and excellence, creating some of the world's most advanced vessels. Today, we are at the forefront of our industry and redefining the future of naval warfare. At Bollinger, we turn challenges into opportunities and careers into legacies. Here, you're part of something bigger. Any yard can build a ship. We don't just build ships. Together, we're building the future.
Edison Schwest Offshore is more than a fleet. We're an interconnected network of vessels, logistics hubs, and a fast-growing workforce of over 19,000 dedicated professionals across the globe. From the United States to Brazil and the Middle East to Southeast Asia, Schwest provides cutting-edge solutions to a worldwide community. And in the face of evolving demands across the industry, we are committed to operating as the best in the world.
Sea Level Construction is a trusted heavy civil contractor delivering turnkey solutions to the Gulf South. From large-scale infrastructure and power distribution foundations to marine construction, driven piling, specialty foundations, structural fabrication, structural concrete, site development, heavy equipment maintenance, vessel repair, and inshore tugboat services. We also design and supply helical piles nationwide, delivering reliable foundation solutions. Call Sea Level Construction to set the foundation for your next project.
In this week's episode of Louisiana and Beyond, we're learning how the South Lafourche Levee District has been proactive in providing the highest degree of flood protection to its community.
And Executive Director Nick Matherne worked with an impressive board to provide the leadership needed to guide the major projects undertaken by the Levee District.
We have a 9-member board of commissioners for the South Lafourche Levee District. Those are nominated by the Lafourche Parish government, the town of Golden Meadow, the state representatives and senators in our area, and then final appointment is made by the governor of the state of Louisiana. Those 9 members represent the business owners and the residents of our community that we protect, and they appoint me as the executive director to carry out the day in, day out operations of the decisions that they make as a board. Our board, we're very fortunate to have in South Lafourche because we're made up of extremely caring members of this community who were born and raised here and want to see our community survive for generations to come. And they're all local professionals who have worked, tirelessly, not only in their careers, but also in this extra time that they spend serving the community. And they bring their private sector and personal life expertise to the table. So we have insurance advisors for our insurance committee. We have owners of shipyards and tugboat companies that help with personnel issues. And so we have construction company owners who help with our decisions on equipment and building maintenance. And so we've got a wide range of local knowledge and expertise that we're able to pull from just for our daily operations to make sure that we're making the best decisions for our residents and businesses.
I run the meetings. We got an excellent board. We get along. Everybody on our board is there for the betterment of our community. They know, and you mentioned it earlier about our forefathers. They had the foresight to see what we needed back in the day, and if they wouldn't have been there, our community wouldn't exist right now. Our board meets on the second Monday of every month at 3:00 in the afternoon. We have personnel committees, we have executive committees, we have maintenance committees, flood level committees that meet as needed. Our executive committee meets every month before our board meeting, to bring up critical ideas, and I sit on every committee. I meet with them also. Nick meets with us and gives us reports and all that. And all our guys are interested. They call Nick, they call me, if we have questions and all that. So we had it when Mr. Ronald passed away. We appointed his son. Well, his son got appointed, Gavin, who is in the business, runs the shipyard, and he loves it. He's so very interested. Had another young man, Mr. Scott Terrio, come in and bred the road, some young guys that we got to get in there, some 35, 40-year-old guys that they're the future to our community. So we want them to learn like we did.
Nick and I have worked together for a lot of different things. We still work together, and through the Association of Levee Boards, we're up there. But really, you can say there is just not a lot of light between the workings of South Lafourche, North Lafourche, and Terrebonne. And I'm not excluding St. Charles and even Lafourche Basin, because we work very much closely with them, and St. Mary's on the other side as well. But as things, our projects grew, we've always had to work together, and so that's been South Lafourche has been a big benefit into the formation of North Lafourche.
I mean, the North Lafourche Levee District does not have the same system that South Lafourche has. South Lafourche has a ring levee system that encompasses all of South Lafourche, and we have levee systems that cover areas. It's not a big ring levee that protects the entire region. We do have some that are similar, but for instance, the levee system that we built from Lockport to La Rose is similar to South Lafourche, and the Morganza system that's being built from the intercoastal on the eastern side of the bayou going to Lockport is going to be very similar to how South Lafourche is built. But, those are all important topics that are on the table. Collectively, the three levee districts represents a population. And in the world of funding, like you just mentioned, population is what gets attention, and how you're generating your funding. The people here have demonstrated that they're very interested in investing into what we're doing, or they wouldn't have voted in extra millage and extra sales tax and all of this. So, that also helps us to get attention when we go and ask for state funding and federal funding.
The coordination regionally between our three levee districts in South Lafourche, North Lafourche, and Terrebonne Parish has been pretty exemplary, especially the last several years. We do have jurisdictions. We have boundary lines. The thing is, when hurricanes come in, hurricanes don't recognize our boundary lines. And so we recognize how important it is for us to all communicate regularly and to coordinate efforts where we can, where it makes sense.
Thank you so much for joining us this week as we learn more about the South Lafourche Levee District.
And next week, join us as we have more from the South Lafourche Levee District. Hope to see you next time right here on Louisiana and Beyond.
Louisiana and Beyond is brought to you in part by Edison Schwest Offshore, Bollinger Shipyards, Crosby Tugs LLC, Grand Isle Shipyard, Greater Lafourche Port Commission, Nichols State University, and Sea Level Construction.